this mic over to a gentleman here, and he's going to wrap us all up for the evening.
How we doing? Tim, that's fascinating. If you would just get a little more enthusiastic and speak a little bit faster, you'd really be good. Wow, that's great. It was very, very fascinating stuff. And some of those paintings you had up there, I remember, they're in Statuary Hall in Congress, and some of them are in the Rotunda. Yeah, I mean, when you see them, I'd recommend what you said. If you see them, they're huge. They might be like 40 feet, 50 feet high by 100 feet wide. It's just amazing. You sit and look at them for hours. Anyway, I didn't plan on speaking tonight, so I'll say a few words, and then I think it's more interesting if I hear what you have to say, or if you have questions, all right? Does that sound like a good deal? We should be out of here in an hour. Just kidding. But the Jones County Republican women are doing, where's Julie at? They're doing a great job. Yep, Julie, you're doing a great job. I think I spoke at your inaugural event down here, absolutely. Jones County GOP, Gerald and LaDonna Ratzloff do a great job. Great county, great Republican county. So it's always good to be here, and I have seen so many friends tonight and familiar faces. That's always comforting to see. I'll just say a couple things. Nationwide, thank God we have President Trump. I got to know him pretty well. I served under him. I served under Barack Obama. And let me tell you, I got to be nice, right? Serving under President Trump was better. Okay, it was better. Yeah. But I got to know President Trump well. He's actually a pretty funny guy, high energy, and loves our military, loves our veterans, loves our farmers. He loves every time he would see me, he'd say, Blum, how are the farmers doing? And I'd say, they're doing great, Mr. President. He'd say, do they love me? He would. I'd go, yes, Mr. President, they love you. Well, they oughta. They talked about the $6 billion or whatever it was at the time that through tariffs that he reimbursed the farmers, which was important. We fought hard for that. And so I got to know him pretty well, and thank God. I mean, I don't know of another person that's been through what he's been through, starting back in 2016, and with the impeachments and assassinations and the lawsuits, and they're trying to lock the guy up. And I just can't believe what he's done, and that he's not only survived, but he's thriving. And at, 79 years old? It's amazing. The guy's amazing. I mean, the border's closed effectively. That's a great thing. Now we need to get out of our country, especially the worst first, right? It's kind of funny how the Democrats and the media say, oh, they need to have due process. But they didn't have due process when they crossed the border, did they? No. So we need to get them out of the country. And this is all by design. It's all by Democrat plan. That's why they did this, because they knew how difficult it would be to deport that many people. We're deporting, I don't know what it is, 800 a day. The number needs to be like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 a day to get the ones that came out of the country. So, I mean, I don't know. Back when I was in Congress, I think they said we had 8 million, 9 million illegals here, illegal immigrants. The number was really 15 million, 16. So when they say now we have 21, it's probably 28, 27, 30. So it's a problem, right? And every time we have, thank God, hopefully we never have all three branches of government in Democrats' hands, because they're all going to be voting. And I think the interesting thing is, when I was chatting with some folks over here about that, is Hispanics are God-fearing people. They love their families, and gosh, they work hard. Is that not a Republican voter? We talked about that. It's a Republican voter. Yeah, so we should have the Hispanic vote, but they should be legal. You know, I have empathy for them coming across the border. I have empathy for them trying to get a better life for them and their family. We all have empathy for them, right? Because we're Christians. But we're a nation of laws. And what's against the law is against the law is against the law. So he's got the border closed. We need to deport a whole heck of a lot of people. Crime is down. Violent crime's down 16% since Trump took the oath of office. 16%. Murders are down 20% since Trump took the oath of office. So crime is down. People aren't coming across the border. And now we're dealing with tariffs and the economy. But gosh, he's a business guy. he's got a plan. He knows how this is going to unfold. And the economy is going to be, I think we are going to have a golden age. We are going to have a golden age when he's in here in the next 3 years. So buy stocks in the American economy, because I think it's going to be very good. The Middle East, what a hotbed of, wow. It's just crazy, isn't it? And somebody said we bombed Iran tonight. Remember President Obama signed the secret agreement with Iran? Remember that? Well, part of it was secret. So in Congress, we were supposed to vote for and approve the Iran agreement. And so, yeah, we all read that. But then we find out there's 12 pages that are top secret. Oh, we need to see those, Mr. President, before we can vote on them. Nope, can't see them. Can't see them. Isn't that amazing? So, I mean, I just duty bound to read the secret document. So when President Trump got in office, things changed a bit, right? And I got approval to read the secret document. I had a CIA guy sitting right next to me the entire time, but I got to read the 12 pages. You know, and I'm sworn to secrecy, but it's been a long time now. But the bottom line was, I'll give you the bottom line, was at the end of this agreement that Obama negotiated, Iran had permission to develop a nuclear weapon. And I said to the CIA guy, why would we do this? Why would we they're a theocracy, they're like so extreme, it's beyond belief, and we want them to have a nuclear bomb? No way. But that was in the secret agreement, and they made it secret for that reason. So I agree with whatever has to be done. Let's get this solved. Einstein's definition of insanity was doing the same thing tomorrow that we did yesterday and expecting different results, right? That's insane. Yeah, let's not do that. Trump doesn't want to do that. Let's just take our medicine and take care of the problem now so our kids and their kids don't have to worry about this, right? Because, they want to wipe America off the face of the planet and Israel. We can't have that. We just can't have that. And then we got the West Bank going on with Israel and Hamas, right? So that's Netanyahu. I've met him. They're tough. Our military guys are tough. Israel military, the IDF, they're tough. So they'll take care of business there. And the longer it goes on, the more sympathetic the media becomes to Hamas. And I always go, who started this thing? Right? Who killed all these people in Israel and kidnapped them? They did. And now, once again, we're presented with, let's just deal with this and take care of it and have it be over, right? Do you want your kids to be still hearing about Hamas? No. Or Iran and the Ayatollah? No. So it's a little bit unsettling right now, but I think he's doing what he needs to do, and it's going to turn out great, I think, because he's a leader. He knows what he's doing. He listens to people, always listening to people. And then the state issues. I love Governor Reynolds. I love Governor Branstad. They've done a great job. I think Kim's done a marvelous job for the most part in our state with a lot of things she's done. The only couple things I don't agree with, and one is this eminent domain. I do not think the government should be able to use eminent domain for the good of the population. Private companies, which Summit is, and Bruce Rastetter, should not be able to use eminent domain. Maybe the pipeline's a good idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. Yeah, I agree. Maybe it's a good idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. But get farmers that are saying, yeah, you can run it under my ground and pay me rent for it. Negotiate those deals. You shouldn't be able to use the power of the government to the benefit of a private company. To me, it's easy. It's simple. The answer is no. So I don't agree with Kim on that. And every time I saw President Trump during the campaign out here in Iowa, which was often, Cindy was with us sometimes, Mark Meadows, who's a really good friend of mine, he and I would always push President Trump to put Kim in as vice president. And we both believe she was in the top 3. We were always pushing the president to put Kim in the top 3. That's how much I think of her. Mark Meadows thinks of her. And then she endorsed Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is a good friend of mine. He was in the House Freedom Caucus with me. We sat next to each other in the bottom of Tortilla Coast where the House Freedom Caucus would meet every Tuesday night. It's a restaurant, Mexican restaurant. We met in the basement. Yeah. Good guy, very good guy. So the Freedom Caucus, I was a member of that. That was used against me, of course. But she endorsed DeSantis. And I was talking to her shortly after we were at a fundraiser together, shortly after she endorsed Ron DeSantis, and I said, Kim, I brought you up to the president in how you endorsed Ron DeSantis. And the president went off. He went off. He values loyalty, big time, especially after his first term. He didn't know who to trust, so he values loyalty. And I brought her name up to the president, as I always did. And I was going to say something like, she's still doing it. And I said, Kim, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm not bringing your name up to President Trump. Because, oh gosh, he was really mad about that. But I think Kim's done, a marvelous job. But one thing I think we need to improve on in Iowa, the biggest thing I think, is the economy. We were the one of 2 states last year that went backwards in GDP. Backwards. North Dakota and Iowa. Only 2 states in the country that went backwards in our gross domestic product that we output from Iowa. And over the last 5 years, we've been one of the worst in the country. Since 2019, Iowa's economy has not grown. It's not grown since 2019. Now you look at another state, I think Indiana's kind of similar to Iowa, aren't they? Kind of a rural state, Indiana. Yeah, Indiana has grown faster, their GDP, than Minnesota, than Wisconsin, than Iowa, than Missouri, than Ohio, than Illinois. Why is that? Why is their economy growing faster than fastest growing state in the Midwest? Indiana. Mike Braun is their governor. Mike Braun is a businessman. He's a career businessman. He's not a career politician. I don't like career, well, I shouldn't say I don't like. I stand against career politicians. And I think we need term limits, and I think turnover is good, and Mike Braun is doing a great job in the state of Indiana, and they're growing like crazy. That can be Iowa. One of the biggest things I hear from people when I go out in this great state of ours is they're saddened because their kids have to move out of Iowa to get a job that they want. Or their grandchildren. I hear people say, I want my grandchildren near me. I want my children near us, but they got to go to Chicago or Minneapolis or Indiana for jobs. We need those jobs here in Iowa. We need those jobs in Iowa. And I always said, the legislature in Iowa is in session from January to about May, right? God, if I were the governor, from June until December, I would be out meeting with every Fortune 500 company CEO that would see me, and that'd be all of them, are going to see me and ask them to expand in the state of Iowa. And the ones that say no, I'd ask them why. Tell me why. What do we need to change? Why wouldn't you? Huh? That's what we need to do. We need more job opportunities in the state. Our economy's not growing. But overall, love Kim Reynolds. Love the job that they've done. Our state legislature, Cindy Golding's here. I'm a good friend from Cedar Rapids. The Senate and the House have just done an absolutely, Jeff Kaufman, who mentioned Jeff Kaufman? Somebody mentioned Jeff Kaufman is like another thing the president would always say to me is he goes, how's that Kaufman? And I go, he's good, Mr. President. He goes, that guy knows how to run a state party. Every time he'd say that about Kaufman, that guy knows how to run a state party. Yeah, he does. Kaufman's amazing. Jeff Kaufman is amazing. And so we're blessed to have him here in the state. So that's just my thoughts on a few things. And I'll take questions. If there are no questions, y'all can go. If there's questions, that's the most fun anyway, is questions. Yes. Emma from Cedar Rapids, Lynn County. Can you use the mic? Oh boy, this is dangerous. I learned this the hard way. There's always one more question. It's always the last question. It's like, oh God, why did I say that?
Isn't he a great guy to run for governor? Yay! He's against the pipeline.
It's dangerous. Any policy questions?
No, I like you to be a governor.
Any policy questions, anybody? Or just any statements on the state or the federal? What's going on? Come on. Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. Making the sausage is difficult, right? I was there, I couldn't believe it. Especially when you have a thin majority, like we have in the House, there's always some guys or women who say, oh, this is my opportunity now to say, I'm not going to vote for the bill, because then they know they're going to get called into the Oval Office, and they might get promised this or promised that, or they might get promised a Fox TV show, or God knows what, right? I always thought that was like, come on. I mean, if I thought something was wrong, I'd vote against it, but sometimes you just got to go with the team, right? No bill's perfect. No bill's perfect. And I love what Reagan always said. This bill's going to give us 80% of what we want. We'll come back another day for the 20%. You know, if the bill moves the football in the proper direction down to our opponent's goal line, why would we not want to do that? So they're using reconciliation, which is a simple majority in the House. But yes, I think we'll get one, because the president will make that happen. No doubt in my mind. So all the posturing that happens right now, it's all just smoke. And at the end of the day, it will pass. It will pass. Good question, though. Other questions? Everybody's tired? Yes.
So this kind of goes, national debt kind of one of my problems, and I think it started with George Washington couldn't pay his troops. Maybe he'll tell us, as I look back to where the national debt started, but it's really ballooned in the last few years. So I hear this $9.4 billion we're going to cut. It seems like such a trivial amount of $37 trillion.
Oh, you talking about Doge, or you talking about the bill, or?
Doge, the national debt.
Yeah, our debt is, I think, our biggest existential threat that faces this country. And I always say, 2013, I started running for Congress. And I asked Republican groups, what's our national debt? Almost every hand went up back then, and everybody knew the answer within, give or take, a few trillion. Today, when I talk to Republican groups, probably not this one, I ask them, what's our national debt? Hardly a hand goes up. And then sometimes they guess wrong. It's like, well, if we don't care about the debt, I'm telling you, the Democrats don't care about the debt. So this is something we've got to get. I'm for a balanced budget amendment, but it's something we got to get under control. We got to send people to Washington that don't. I used to always say to my business partner, Ed, I said, Ed, we're spending like drunken sailors. And he said, Rod, with all due respect, I was a drunken sailor. He said, at least we quit when we ran out of our own money. True story. So it's the biggest threat we have is this debt. And you know, like interest rates, President Trump wants them brought down. Our young people, my son and daughter-in-law, can't afford a house because the interest rates are where they're at. Well, interest rates aren't going to come down as long as we keep having trillion-dollar deficits. That's the cause of it. But you need to know something about economics, a little bit at least. It's not an easy thing to explain. So, you know, maybe your average person they just want to blame it on the party in power. But that's the reason the interest rates are high. You know, and if we lowered interest rates, what would we probably have back? Inflation. Probably inflation would be roaring back. And inflation really hurts people on a fixed income. So Social Security folks really hurts them. But good question about debt. Thanks for bringing that up.